Hey, RetconRaider here, back with a little bit more Deep Sky Derelicts. I just finished uploading my overview video for this game, but since I had a little extra time and a lot of leftover gameplay footage, I figured I'd go ahead and whip up a quick gameplay video, just to give you a better idea of what it's like. So, that said, let's get in there. First we have to put together our mercenary crew, starting with a name, which of course will be the Retcon Raiders. Next we have to choose classes. There are 6 in total to choose from. The Bruiser here is your tank. The Technician is your shield specialist. The Medic mostly handles buffs and debuffs. The Leader is your negotiation specialist. And the Scrapper is your salvaging specialist. And that brings us back to the Tracker, who's your basic damage specialist. Now, beyond the classes, there's not a whole lot else you can do. You can change character portraits, you can change character names, but otherwise they're mostly pre-generated. In this case, I think we're going to go with a team that consists of Rowan the Tracker, Atlas the Bruiser, and let's round out the team with a Scrapper. They're decent combatants, and they significantly increase the amount of loot you find while you're exploring, so I always like to have one of them on the team. Yeah, this lineup looks halfway decent. They're a bit heavy on damage and a bit light on buffs and healing, but I think we should be able to manage. We'll just need to be careful in combat, keep a close eye on their shields and their health, and know when to cut and run. Welcome, Scavenger. I've been expecting you. Now, I don't need to tell you that the world is unjust. You must know it better than most. Being an aristocrat myself, I can only imagine the hardships you stateless must endure. That's why I am offering you a possibility to leave that brutal life of yours behind. Really? What is this offer? I want you to find the fabled mothership and secure it. As a reward, I offer you a full galactical citizenship. I'm listening. Our scientists have discovered that the mothership is hidden somewhere in this sector. We have strong reasons to assume that it is filled with technological wonders beyond belief. The Triumvirate is willing to pay anything for it. Find it and I will grant you citizenship. Needless to say, you would be rewarded with a one-way ticket to an easy life in a comfortable and beautiful mirror world. Sounds too good to be true. Why me? And how am I supposed to find it? I hear that you're experienced in combat and know your way around the Derelicts. I trust my sources are right. Start looking for leads, get into the bridge section of each derelict you go to, and try to find something that could contain useful information. Anything that hasn't been corrupted by the millennia those ships have drifted in space. Not every derelict necessarily provides the needed information, but with enough data from the derelicts, our researchers can put together the location of the mothership. I could do that. Where do I start? Consider getting some contracts from the layer to help keep expeditions profitable, and head to Shuttle Bay to depart to one of the recently discovered derelicts. How about my team? Does the offer concern them too? Yes, your entire team is granted with the same privileges, should you find the mothership. I've heard enough. Report back to me as soon as you find any information about the mothership. Prove yourself worthy and I'll grant you a broader working permit. If you manage to find and secure the mothership, the citizenship is yours. But bear in mind that you're not the only ones I've extended this offer. Act quickly, Scavenger. He seems like a trustworthy fellow. The station. We can prepare here for our missions. Let's check the layer for contracts. There's good money in them. Should also check the pawn shop for useful items and sell anything we're not using. Thanks, Naz. We'll head over to the layer here. Welcome to the layer. Believe it or not, this is the entertainment center of the station. We sell drinks to soothe the pain, and we keep track of open contracts, if pain is your thing. Well, there are 2 contracts to choose from. The first one requires us to find a rare mawworm egg. And the second one requires us to find 3 intact T-model janitor robot parts. There's no limit to the number of contracts we can take at a time, so we'll grab them both. And I think we're pretty much ready to go. We don't need to visit the sub-governor right now. And this is the medical bay. We don't really need to be here right now, but I guess we should swing by the pawn shop. Come on in, weapon cores, mods, gear. We got it all. Got some hot stuff you need to move quickly? No problem. And yet another trustworthy fellow. This, of course, is where we can buy and sell goods. Though, much like the loot you find while exploring, it's all randomized, so there's no guarantee that any of it will ever be useful. I don't really see anything here we'd want to buy, but we will go ahead and pick up a couple of energy cells. Those are vital when you're exploring derelict spaceships. And that is pretty much everything we can do for now, so let's hop a shuttle and... Actually, before we do that, let's take a quick look at our mercenaries. Like I said in the overview video, every class comes with its own set of special perks, which you can see over here on the left. You gain access to new perks every level, but you only get 2 ability points per level. Now, at this stage in the game's development, I don't know if level 10 is actually the maximum level that you can reach, but if it is, that means the player will only ever get 18 ability points. So that means that the player will have to decide pretty quickly which perks they want to focus on. And down here you can see the cards that make up the character's current action deck, most of which come from the gear that you currently have equipped, though there are a few class-specific cards. Every class does have a preferred starting loadout, but you can swap out certain parts of it for extra flexibility. Tools are all generally interchangeable, and you can also swap out different types of ranged weapons. Though if the character sheet specifies a specific type of weapon, such as the tracker's energy blade here, that means that he can only equip energy blade type weapons in that particular slot. There's also a small assortment of basic character stats, but for the most part that's predetermined based on your class, and they mostly just determine what kind of cards that particular character is good at using. You're usually going to want to have each of your mercenaries focus on just one stat, but the entire party can benefit from stats like scavenging and mental, which can both improve the quality of your rewards. In fact, if you really want to focus on making the most profitable party possible, you'll always want to make sure you have a leader and a scavenger, one to boost the amount of pay you get for completing contracts, and the other to boost the quality of the loot that you find while you're exploring. That's actually what I usually do, but I thought I'd try something a little different this time. So I swapped out my usual leader for a bruiser. This is the only class that only gets 3 equipment slots, but they make up for it by being your basic combat tank. They can dole out a bunch of damage and soak it up in return, and since I didn't grab a defensive class like a medic or an engineer, I'm really going to be relying on Atlas here to keep the rest of the squad alive. Rowan and Atlas are our basic combat monsters, but Naz here is our dedicated scavenger. He can actually become pretty deadly if I find the right cards for him, but his primary job is to boost his scavenging skill as high as possible so he can find better loot. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get back to the space dock so we can head out to our first derelict. I'll be your pilot today. Please show me your ticket, choose a destination from the star map, and away we go. Alright, well we'll head for the nearest derelict, the Absolution. There are no special charges, so we're traveling for free on the sub-governor's dime. And here we are. Return here and contact me when you're ready to go back to the base. Be safe out there, guys. Thanks, nameless pilot. We should check out the PDA so we know where we're going. Will do, Rowan. When you're on a derelict, you'll use the Scanner tab on your PDA to navigate your way through the ship. Like I said in the overview, you start off with a fairly small portion of the ship mapped out, just the immediately adjacent rooms, and then the rooms immediately beyond that are marked in red, so you know what directions you can go in, but you have no idea what's actually in there. The main thing you need to keep your eye on is your energy counter. You start off most runs with 100 energy, but as you explore, you'll quickly burn through that energy. And like I said in the overview, if you ever run out of energy, it's game over. Your entire squad just died. So it's important to make sure that you don't overuse the scan function, and that you always leave yourself with enough energy to get back to the docking bay so you can return to the space station. It looks like this little corner of the ship is pretty much empty, so let's start pushing out deeper into the derelict. Though we will keep an eye on our energy, as Naz is helpfully reminding us there. Let's go ahead and move towards this red room over here. Oh, and it looks like we've stumbled across some random loot. Let's go ahead and search, and it looks like Naz is excited. Once again, he's reminding us about basic game functionality, in this case the inventory tab. Unfortunately, it looks like this particular piece of loot is something I'm not going to get a whole lot of use out of. We don't have a medic in our squad, and I'm not really looking to build a hybrid action deck right now, so I'll probably just sell that once we get back to the space station. Now let's go ahead and keep exploring. Mostly empty rooms, but it does look like we picked up a piece of loot nearby, so we might as well go check that out. Looks like it's some valuable scrap. That's your basic vendor trash. Still, we've got plenty of inventory space, so there's no reason not to take it. Let's go ahead and head towards this big cluster of red rooms down here. And once we're a bit deeper into the unknown, still nothing much, but at least we spotted some more loot. Looks like this time we found a petrified alien head. Again, it's your basic piece of vendor trash, but this one's actually pretty valuable, so we'll definitely grab that. Let's just keep pushing through the ship here, and eventually we should come across some more interesting encounters. I will blind her material being and disintegrate it into billions of quarks. I will scatter her remains into the void of the space and spit on her memory. The Sphinx has seen, I will kill her. The Hood was summoned to dull the knife. Stranger, you've heard me recite acts of violence. What do you want? Oh, he seems like a charmer. Are you a mercenary? I do kill, but only in the name of spiritual purity. I'm here to kill Knife, the unholy one. The Sphinx saw it, and I was sent on my journey to avenge her despicable deeds. You can help me by taking the life of Knife and bringing me her insignia. Will you accept the task? Can you tell me something about this Knife? I don't want to harm innocent people. She is not innocent, but a violator of the Holy Code. I decline to tell any more of her impure acts. They are too close to my heart. That is still sore from all the pain Knife has caused. Will you help me cure this pain? Well, I'm not going to turn down a mission, so of course I will. Good. Go and tear her soul into pieces. I have a sneaking suspicion that Knife will also want me to kill this guy, so I'll probably have to decide which one to go after. There's no telling where in the ship she'll be, but looks like our scanner picked up a couple of loot nodes. Oh, we can always use more energy cells. Now let's check out that other loot node. And more vendor trash, a really cheap piece this time. Now let's go ahead and poke through this little hallway here. Oh. That deceptive mongrel, that lidless troglodyte, that reeking calamity from Moab's intestines. Soon you will lay as mute as a dead rock, rotting in the forgotten lap of the dark energy. I will carve your tongue out and let you wither away in the murk of space. The tribe has spoken. The Hood will die. Nice to meet you. I met with Hood, but he says you're the betrayer. What's going on here? Conspiring with the enemy, eh? You promised me flesh. Die, martyr! Oh, well, so much for making a decision. I guess we're fighting. Just our luck. I was hoping to start off easy, but oof, that's a puncturing wound there. She just managed to land a hit on Rowan that completely bypassed his shields. Normally your shields replenish between every fight, but damage to your health can only be restored by returning to the space station and paying for medical treatment, so right off the bat here, Rowan's at an immediate disadvantage. One or two more unlucky hits and he'll be out of commission. Now let's go ahead and fight back a bit here. We're up against a single powerful target, so I think we'll start off by marking her. That'll reduce her damage resistance and give some other small benefits to our other teammates. Now Naz, I think, will start off with a dirty punch that covers his target with filth and grants it a 1 in 3 chance of missing every attack. Normally attacks will automatically hit and inflict the exact amount of damage it states, but if you hit someone with a debuff like this, that can actually give them a chance to miss. Oh, and just in case she doesn't miss, let's go ahead and pull aggro onto Atlas by using a provoking strike. Though she seems to be on the defensive. Retaliates 75% melee damage and blocks all ranged damage for 3 hits. For 5 turns, huh? That's pretty powerful. Alright, well, we're not just going to pass 5 turns and let her keep attacking us, so let's go ahead and weaken her a bit more, see if we can offset some of those defensive benefits. And Naz will risk taking a shot at her. We'll see if we can stun her with a heavy strike. No stun, but she also didn't make a counterattack. It could be that Deflective Stance only works if it does damage directly to her health. We'll have to keep an eye on it once we've bypassed her shields. But for now, we'll keep stacking debuffs. Alright, she just tagged us with a quick strike. But we're still in pretty good shape, so let's hit her back. There we go, that took out her shields. Now we're doing damage directly to her health, so let's see what that Deflective Stance does now. We'll go ahead and try to stun her again. Still no luck there, but at least it did damage. And Atlas will keep her attention with another provoking strike. And she's still on the defensive. That's a bit odd. Well, we'll keep hitting her. She doesn't seem to be deflecting or counterattacking, so there's really no reason for us to stop wailing on her. Oh, there we go. Okay, she actually did deflect all 3 of Naz's shots that time. But she didn't deflect any of that attack, so I don't know. Maybe certain aspects of that ability just haven't been implemented yet. This is, after all, a development build. It is not a finished product. Knife curses you in the name of Moab and vows to return as a specter to carve your hide, use it as her new skin, and be reborn, before the light fades in her eyes. Alright, well, we'll take the insignia back to Hood and see what he has to say. But we'll stop by this other encounter on the way. We're a bit low on energy, so let's go ahead and use an energy cell real quick. And it looks like we're up against some robot janitors. That's fortuitous. That's exactly what we need for one of our contracts. And they've immediately started out on the offensive. Those hits didn't get through our shields, but the stagger means that we lost cards. That reduces our options for the first round of combat. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and debuff that one so he's less likely to hit us. And Atlas will use a bash attack to start softening up our primary target. And now they get to counterattack. They're still working on getting through our shields, nothing to worry about. Rowan just drew an attack card, so let's go ahead and keep whittling down that janitor. There go his shields. He's just down to health now. Though Naz is starting to take a bit of a beating up there. He's down to his last 5 shield points. We need to finish this quick, so let's go ahead and use craft supplies to cycle in a more useful attack card. Burst Fire should do nicely. That card inflicts 3 low damage attacks in rapid succession, so if we're lucky, it'll take out one of our targets. That leaves us with one more hostile to deal with. Let's see if we can stun him. Very nice. And now the fight's pretty much over. We can all just tear him to pieces before he gets another turn. And there we go. We didn't get much in the way of loot, but at least we got 2 of the 3 robot janitor parts we need for one of our contracts. Now let's get back over to Hood. You've returned. Do you have the insignia? Well, I could pick a fight with him, but I think we'll just give him the insignia and see what happens. The Defiler is gone. At last I will be met as an equal among my people. I will purify the insignia of the Fallen One. You can have mine as a gift, as it has lost its value in my eyes. You can do whatever you wish to do with it. Farewell. Well, that's interesting. I'm not actually sure what his insignia is or what it does. But usually when they give you a quest item like that, it's something you can use somewhere else on the same derelict. I guess we'll just have to keep our eyes out for any other special encounters that might be related. Okay, looks like we just picked up some loot and 2 more combat encounters. Extraneous matter sighted. Cleanse it with laser fire. Oof, okay, we're dealing with 3 robot janitors this time. That's a bit trickier. Let's go in blasting. We'll just have to pick these guys off one at a time and keep an eye on our shields. Well, they're definitely cutting through our shields pretty quickly, but no health damage yet, so nothing to worry about. Oof. It would be a lot easier to restore our shields if we had a technician on the team. But let's see if we can find a good attack here. Well, we'll just grab Dirty Punch and dole out a quick debuff. Now Atlas will try to buy us some more time with a quick stunning blow. There we go. Took out his shields and neutralized him for a turn. Now we can afford to focus on one of these other janitors. Let's go ahead and start whittling this guy down. Oof. I think I saw a critical hit in there. Oh, and they just took out Naz's shields. Looks like he suffered a bleeding injury. So he's definitely in trouble. These guys are all pretty weak, so I'm hoping I can finish the fight before it's a major issue. Then we'll just pop back over to the space station and get him some medical treatment. There we go. We've already got one of them down, just 2 more to go. And we just cut through that one's shields. But now they get to attack us back. That's a little more damage on Naz. We all just lost cards. And that janitor's gone on the defensive. It's put itself in self-repair mode. Let's see if we can take him out before he repairs himself. Unfortunately, while he's in self-repair mode, he takes 50% reduced damage, but he also won't attack. Instead, each turn he'll recover a certain amount of his health until he reaches full health again. Let's go ahead and keep hitting him. There we go. A timely critical hit, and we're just facing one more foe. Ooh. And unfortunately, he unloaded both barrels of his janitorial laser right into Naz's chest. That means we're down a man. That's definitely unfortunate. And even more unfortunate, it looks like all those staggering attacks have cost us so many cards that Atlas and Rowan actually don't have any attack cards left. This is, I guess, one of the biggest drawbacks to having a combat system built around deck building. You're relying on random card draws, so you could have great strategies, but if you're not getting the cards you need, then those strategies just aren't going to help you. Okay, well, we've got this thing on the brink of death. We just need to hit it 1, maybe 2 more times. Oh, okay, Naz, I get it. Please go back to being dead, thank you. I could go ahead and use the boost action, but that'll put us way too close to running out of energy. So for now, we'll keep cycling cards. Keep hitting this guy with debuffs as they come up. And when we finally do get an attack, we'll hopefully be able to use it to finish him off in one hit. There we go. And that'll do it. That's insult added to injury, no decent loot. Well, we're down a man, so there's no real point in continuing to explore until we get him back on his feet. Naz doesn't gain experience points for fights if he's unconscious, and without him we don't enjoy the boost he provides to the quality of the loot we find. So, here we are back in the space station, and yes, Naz, we are going to take you up to the medical center. Oops, I did not mean to go there. There we go. And as you can see, it's very pricey to get someone back on their feet. It's why you want to avoid having people incapacitated at all costs. We are getting a small payday for finishing off this first contract, but I think we actually had a net loss there between getting Naz and Rowan patched back up. But we will at least have a chance to make a few extra credits by selling off some of the vendor trash we picked up. But I'm just about out of time, so I think this makes a good stopping point. Hopefully this has given you a better idea of what the current early access version of the game is like. I've still got about 25 more minutes of gameplay footage recorded, so I may try to throw together another episode if I find enough time. But for now, this is RetconRaider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Deep Sky Derelicts, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, or the store page over on Steam. Links are in the description.